Rasulullah ﷺ does not stop there. And this is the lesson that we oftentimes miss. Rasulullah ﷺ says, what if you don't see that in the Quran? What if you don't find it in the Quran? What happened in Yemen at the time is not specifically outlined in the Quran. Then what? But nowadays we hear people waving the Quran, everything is, the answer is right here, and you ask them and you say, is all the specifics in there? Of course not. The principles are there. Big difference. The person who understands it understands the way the Prophet ﷺ was teaching. The principles are there. So he asked this young man, he said, what if you don't find it in the Quran? Then what? The young man answers him and says, I will apply what I learned from you, O Prophet of Allah. The Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And then the Prophet ﷺ does not stop there. He says, what if you don't find it in the Quran? You don't find it in the Sunnah? Then what? The problem is entirely new. Because you're going to a place that's different than us. Their problems are not exactly the ones we have in Medina. So you go to that foreign land and they present to you a problem that you have no idea. You don't read, you don't find the verses in the Quran that reflects to that. And you never heard me talk about it with the other Sahaba. Because we never encountered such problem. Then what? Then what? Rasulullah ﷺ, the master teacher, wants to examine. This is a test for the young man, to see the level of his wisdom. And he said, if I cannot find it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلِ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So I will gather the people of knowledge in that land and ask them to give me consultation, to give me an advice on the matter. I'll present it to them, wise people of the city or the state, and I'll say, give me an advice. What do you guys think? Give me a fatwa. And that's how I'm going to do it. Rasulullah ﷺ, there is a reason why he didn't stop when the young man answered and said, I will find it in the Quran and I'll apply in the Quran. Did not just say, great job, go. That should be enough. Because the Prophet ﷺ, who modeled this deen for you and me, the one who lived what the Quran taught and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified in the Quran, had a different understanding. He did not want a superficial understanding of things. He wanted deep understanding of things. So the Prophet ﷺ does not leave him there. Then he gives him the famous advice. He says, Ya Mu'ad, ittaqillah kayfama kunt. O Mu'ad, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wherever you are. You're going to strange places, away from everybody. But keep in mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there wherever you go. And I'm trusting you with authority. Don't abuse that authority. So he says, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wherever you are. And then knowing after all that we're all human beings and we are going to make mistakes from time to time, he says, whenever you make a mistake, follow it up with good things. Follow it up with good things. That good thing will wipe it. And then the last portion of those three portion hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ advised Mu'adh bin Jabal. The last one, he says, وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. Deal with people in the best of manners. Not with Muslims. Not with our community only. Not only with our ethnic group. Not only with our family members. Not only with educational class and wealth class and all these classes that human beings make. No. وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. Deal with people in the best manner. That was the advice. Muslim, non-Muslim. That's the beauty of this deen. This is what made it, in 200 years, expand the way it did. So now you have the numbers growing, the principles are in decline. Yeah. Principles are in decline. But the numbers, mashallah, tabarakallah, everywhere you look, Muslims, everybody's taking this deen, regardless of how insults we get on a daily basis. In every AM station that you listen to, negative feedback, negative propaganda against Muslims and so forth. But we have some people who are doing the job for them. They don't even need to invest in. We have some of our own who do that, the negatives, because of their action, because they did not understand the deen. So where we failed is we failed to teach the principles of this deen. Not the mechanical aspect of the deen, we do that all the time. That one we do a great job. Not the superficial aspect of the deen, that we teach it all the time. Do this, do that, without really giving. And when somebody asks you, why should I do that? We get angry at them. But in reality, the Prophet ﷺ's teaching was different. He had the patience with people. He knew what they were going to ask and he had to answer them. This is the human nature. If you want to transform somebody, because at the end of the day, it's all about transformation. When we said that the Prophet ﷺ came to people who were illiterate, who were doing all kinds of things, the unthinkable, and transformed them to become leaders of the world. He did not just give them plain instructions without giving them the meaning behind it. Why were they doing that? So we learned those core principles of Islam. The underlining of those core principles came through young people, the youth. Honestly, how many masajids do you know nowadays that have youthful conversational engagement as to what this deen means? And what are the challenges that we're facing today? And how should they encounter them? How many masajids do we know? Just think about it in your mind. 1 out of 24, perhaps? 0? 2? 3? How many? Is every masjid following that model of the Prophet ﷺ to teach those principles? The answer is no. Most of us are busy. We're lucky if we come to our masajids for one salah or another, and then we go home and mind our own things. That's why I say the numbers are increasing. The principles and the in-depth understanding of the deen is in decline. I hate to say this. So that's where you and I come in. First, we acknowledge. An acknowledgement in it is necessary. You're not going to correct the problem that you did not first acknowledge that it exists. You're not going to solve a problem that you first don't admit that there is a problem. So in our negligence, because we neglected to follow the model of the Prophet ﷺ, there are others who fill the vacuum, who are out there, internet, any place else, who will just fill in with every garbage that they want to fill in with, in most cases. That's not to say everybody on the internet is not familiar with the deen. There are a lot of good people who do great da'wah, mashallah. But I'm talking about the ones who are using that within the material. قولوا قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillah, thumma salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. The topic is long and needs more time, and I realize that we're running out of time. So let's just turn our hearts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ja'alna mimman yastami'una al-qawla fayattabi'una